everyone, welcome back. This is Intuitive Edge, your happy host, where we take an intuitive look at what's going on in our world. Happy New Year, everyone. It's time to take a look at what's happening in the United States with all of the fraud, all of the states that are under great scrutiny, Minnesota, over to Washington State, and others. And this could be the tip of the iceberg. Now, in my year ahead predictions, I wasn't so sure that we were going to really see the justice that this is warranting. But I want to take a deeper dive into this and see if there's anything new that might be coming up. What is this about? What has fueled this? I did some meditation. I wrote down some notes. So I'm going to tell you what I came up with. I'll be right back and we'll get started. Social media is all abuzz. If you go to TikTok, X, even on YouTube here, there are a lot of people that are very angry hearing about the alleged fraud that is taking place with what appears to be some cooperation among state agencies to allow it to happen. So what I discovered when I did a little intuitive work with this, when I looked into it, it felt like there are state actors behind this, and that it's not just Somalis coming over here and grifting off the system or learning how to work around the system to get beyond the checks and balances. This is more coordinated, and something that I've been feeling with this is that it feels like it has crossed the line from just simple fraud into almost like an organized crime, possibly RICO. All right, so state actors are behind it. I feel like, I'll just go through my notes. What I picked up on was that Ilhan Omar, she's a congresswoman from Minnesota, from Somalia, that really doesn't seem to like being in America, and she seems very Somalia first. And when I tuned into her energy, I felt like she was being placed where she's at into power to stabilize the grift that is happening. I feel like this is more than just, again, it's more than just a few people. This is a massive coordinated thing that's happening. I also felt that Tim Walz was selected as Kamala's vice presidential pick because of this. I feel like this is all tied with that as well somehow, that perhaps he was picked, and this is all allegedly, okay, I'm just going off of what I'm intuiting, but I feel like he was hand selected as her running mate. I don't know that she picked him. I think he was picked for her. And like, basically, here, this is your running mate. You need to do this kind of thing. But I feel like it was because of what was going on. I think there's some knowledge of this in larger circles that know about what was going on. Again, it's not just a localized thing. This is a much deeper and much bigger problem. I wrote down, there's much more than what is seen. Trying to hold water in their hands, leaking, no way to hold this in check. So what I was seeing was there are some powerful people behind the scenes that know what is going on. And I felt like it's like they're with this coming out in the news, it's like trying to hold water in your hands and it's seeping through your fingers. It's like it's leaking out. There's no way to hold this. This is going off the rails, okay? People, I saw people in suits, like business people, meeting privately, and they're scrambling. They've lost the narrative, they've lost the plot, and they realize that this has gotten out and it's a little out of their hands right now. I did sense that they're trying to figure out how to stop more of this from being uncovered. So again, powerful people in powerful positions of power are trying to figure out, how do we stop the bleeding? How do we put a lid back on this? How do we brace ourselves and get this to where it's not front and center on the news, you know? They're trying to control the narrative, and it feels like a powder keg is about to go off. I did see a man, I wrote Dark Soul, somebody who is a tech company giant. Now, I'm not sure who this is. This person, I'm just going to say, looks human, but I don't think this person is fully human. When I tried to kind of tap in with this, it almost felt like their brain was like a computer, or like a cyborg. It was like numbers going off, and it didn't feel human. It felt more calculated and soulless. So one of the tech giants, and I don't know who, is of that ilk. And I felt like there was an effort to, we got to go in to stabilize the algorithm, to try to make it so that people aren't going to be able to talk about this as much online. How do we stem the tide? How do we stifle speech online to try to spread this out so that it's not being talked about? And I got that there is a lot of chatter between bad actors behind the scenes. These bad actors behind the scenes are desperate to find the next new shiny thing to grab public attention and redirect and stop the bleeding. There is a war going on for your mind with this. They want to distract the public from this topic. And nothing is off the table when it comes to this, because I feel like if this gets the level of uncoverage that is starting to unravel, this could really bring the House of Cards down. And they know this. And so this is huge. They are not above manipulating weather storms, snow, keeping people indoors so that they don't go out to these daycare centers and autism centers and healthcare facilities, allegedly. Anything to try to keep people from going out and doing research, or just your average person going out, because there's been a lot of that. Nick Shirley, we saw what he did, and there's others too that are going out and finding these places and seeing that they're either empty buildings or no one's there. Something that they may try to do is manipulate the weather, but again, that's not foolproof, because people have the internet when they're locked in their homes. They can simply get online, they can do a lot of research that way. Every bit of focus is damage control right now. Every bit. What's the best thing that we can do right now to get answers and hold people accountable? So that was the question that I was pondering as I was looking into this. And what I heard was, stay on topic. Don't fall for attention-grabbing psychological operations. Anything that's out there that's going to try to get people looking over here. Look over here. Don't look over here. And so just be aware of that. And know when your attention is being guided over to someplace, or when you'll know when it's authentic, you looking at something, or when it's more directed or manipulated. So be aware of that, because there's a big push for that kind of manipulation coming in with this. Okay, so then I asked what will be happening in the next couple of weeks, in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks or so, in terms of what is being exposed. When I was tuning into that, my shift and my focus went right over to Washington State. There's going to be a lot of scrutiny, and I feel like any official statements that come out are going to be, they're going to be saying things like pretending to be actively looking into this, or, you know, we're on this, we're going to make sure that this state's clean and we're not, you know, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, but it feels like there's it's going to be a fake pretense of getting to the bottom of this. Okay. What is coming in the next 3 to 4 weeks? And I just felt deeper layers underneath. And this is just the surface. As much has been uncovered, billions. This is just scratching the surface. So when I was looking at Washington, I was seeing arrows pointing at different states. One of the states it pointed to was Nevada. I saw, here's the list of the states that could be having issues similar to what has been uncovered in Minnesota. Here's the states I got: Nevada, Minnesota, California, Illinois, Oregon, Utah, Wyoming, I thought that was weird, Delaware, Alaska, New York, New Jersey, Maine, Michigan, Georgia, and Ohio. Now that's probably not all of the states that may have issues like this, but those ones came up readily when I asked the question. And I saw arrows pointing at all of these different states. So since I was seeing Washington State pointing, I asked the question, is Washington State, is this the linchpin of this operation? Or at least one of the primary players or orchestrators? Is this where it all gels? Is the Washington State? I know we uncovered it in Minnesota first, but we know that there are over 500 of those Somali daycare centers in Washington State. So there's a high likelihood that they are not legitimate, okay, allegedly. When I ask that question, and I have a method that I do when I ask a direct question, I moved over to no. So I'm like, okay, so Washington State's not at the epicenter. So then I crossed out Washington State on my little method here, and I wrote, okay, these seem to be, now it's not exclusively blue states. So this is not a red-blue issue per se, but there are a high percentage of these states that are Democrat states, okay? So then I had to ask this, and I'm sorry if this offends people, but I had to ask. So if Washington State is not the linchpin, is the DNC, the Democrat National Committee, at the center of this? And for that, I got a yes. And I wrote, this is the method of control. So I do feel like there are foreign states also at play. This is not just the United States having an issue here. Obviously, it's illegal, a lot of them, immigrants from Somalia that are players in this whole thing. So I asked the question, how many foreign states are involved in this scam of defrauding individual states in the United States with fake child care businesses, fake autism care centers, and fake healthcare centers, etc. When I did my little number thing, I got the number 9. So that's a lot. I think what is being uncovered here is so monumentally huge that it will probably be staggering and a huge undertaking to get to the bottom of it. I asked another question, how does the president, Donald Trump, how does he view what is happening in Minnesota with this fraud that's been uncovered? Is he ambivalent? Is he angered? Does he want justice? How does he feel? First card out when I did the tarot was the 7 of Pentacles. Now, the way I read tarot is I like to look at the artwork because it pulls me in and tells me a story. So this lady is sitting, she's got all these pentacles up in the tree. There's nothing in her basket. She is preparing to take stock of what she has, and she's wanting to go get what's hers. Interesting, on that first card, it's crossed by the 5 of Swords, which is a card of struggle and conflict. So to me, this is like there's this empty basket and we need to go see what's going on. and go fetch this. And there's a lot of struggle and conflict crossing this. Up top is the King of Cups. Mental mastery. That's kind of crowning everything. This is like a level head. This King of Cups has a level head. He knows what he's doing and he's smart. Underneath is a sad Eight of Cups. A card of moving on, something very upsetting or sad, and you have to, like, sad change. In the background, there's some new thing coming in. And this is what we've just seen with what Nick Shirley did, coming in and exposing all of this. And another ace on the future, which is the Ace of Swords. And this is really good for mental activities, getting to the bottom of things. So 2 aces flanking the situation is really, really good. And this is on, like, picking your battles, choosing your battles. How do you move forward when there's nothing left? It's like this is coming to an end, and it's like picking up the pieces. This is on the environment around what's happening right now. This is a Knight of Pentacles. Knights are messengers. Tells us that there's more coming in on this. And this is facing right back into that Ace of Swords. That's going to help get to the bottom of things. Above it is the Eight of Pentacles. To me, this is like, there is so much to learn and to uncover yet. This is a huge undertaking. And the outcome card over all of this, I really was happy when I saw this card. This is the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords, I call her the no BS. She gets to the bottom of things. She doesn't beat around the bush. She gets to the bottom of things, and she's decisive, tough. And that made me feel better as far as Donald Trump. Feels like he is wanting to get to the bottom of this. He's not ambivalent. He's not going to just turn a blind eye. What is going to happen to Tim Walz of Minnesota? Is this going to continue to get uncovered? Are the powerful players behind the scenes that are desperately trying to stop the bleeding, are they going to be successful in redirecting the public off of this? I don't know about that. When I went on TikTok the other day, yesterday, people are screaming about this. People are livid. So I don't think this is going to be an easy sweep it under the rug. I think the public is a little too mad, and people are pissed from what I've seen. And they should be. This is something, again, this goes beyond right, left. Everybody should be mad about this. This was theft from every taxpayer. It didn't just come from one side of the aisle's pockets. It came from everybody's pockets. And we've all been footing this bill. So, Tim Walz. I'm just going to focus in on Tim Walz as I shuffle the cards really quick here. Tim Walz, Tim Walz, Tim Walz. What is going to be happening in the next with him? What's coming up for Tim Walz? What is in the field coming up for Tim Walz with this whole scandal? What is coming up for him? Okay, here we go. Let's see what we get. Oh, first card out. Okay, the Devil. Okay, what's crossing the Devil? Crossing the Devil is the Blacksmith. This is the Three of Pentacles, a card of working on something, working on a plan. Does that mean the Devil's working on a plan? Okay, hold on. I gotta get the rest of the cards out, and then we'll pull the picture together and see what we're looking at. Okay. All right, let's see what we're looking at here. Do you guys want to see these as I lay them out? Hold on. Okay, so here's that Devil card, crossed by the 3. Try to get the glare off of there. Crossed by that card of working on a plan. Next card out was the 9 of Pentacles. This is a card of wealth, luxury, success. That's kind of been crowning this whole thing. All of that money, all of that wealth that's been allegedly stolen. next card out is the Queen. The Queen of Pentacles. That's in the position of what's kind of led up to this. That luxury, wealth. And then this is like trying to decide what option to pick. That's the Two of Pentacles. Do I do this? Do I do that? And then this is a Six of Wands. Six of Wands is, I call it the triumphal entry. There's news coming in. There is something that's going to be, there's some news, definitely news coming in about Tim Walz coming up. And again, this was about the next few weeks. Okay, I'm just going to put my cards over there. Next card is Page of Wands. Pages are messengers. Again, messenger on him. This messenger is going to be facing right up into this card. So there's something coming toward him, and there's something that he's doing. Okay, Death card. Death card coming out is a card about really big transformation and change. And that's right next to this. This messenger kind of coming in, this Six of Wands, the triumphal entry, bringing news, heading right into the Death card, telling us there's going to be some big changes. Woo, okay. We have the Ace of Wands above that. That's about taking action. And the outcome card is the Eight of Cups. Oh, okay. I'll just throw it right there. It's not quite how the spread goes, but that's okay. It's a little tight on space here. All right, so the Eight of Cups on the outcome is kind of a sad card. It's like you have to move on. It's a sad change. So he could be forced out of office, possibly. This Death card is such radical, powerful, potent change. And this announcement coming in about this radical change resulting in this being the outcome tells me that at the very least, he could possibly be forced to resign. Now again, this is just prediction. This is what I think are possible examples of what might be coming. But there could be something around that for Tim. I don't think it's going to be an easy road ahead. That messenger card, that Six of Wands card, really spoke to some big changes, especially moving into the Death card. So I do think there could be some serious change in the works for him. He may be forced to resign. He may be voted out of office. Maybe people will do a recall. I don't know what's going to take place with that. Probably will suffer some kind of repercussions from this in terms of the voter base. I want to know what's going to be happening in Washington State coming up in the next 3 to 5 weeks in light of all of this that's been happening. So I just shuffled up. First card out is the Two of Pentacles. Okay. This is a card of having to weigh your options. Do I do this? Do I do that? Oh my God. Here comes that Devil card again. Wow. All right. That's interesting. So the Devil is crossing this. Do I do this? Do I do that? What options do I have with this? Now, I did shuffle up a lot, but some of the same cards are coming out, and I shuffled and shuffled and shuffled. So that's interesting. Oh my. Hold on, guys. All right, so here's the main card, that having to make a decision between this and that, and you've got the Devil crossing it. Above it, we have this Ace of Wands. This is about, to me, I'm like feeling wanting to get your hands on something. And it feels like this is coming from the people. The people are wanting to get their hands on something, the smoking gun, get their hands on the truth. But there could be this is possibly going to awaken a lot of the voter base in Washington State. This card here is the Six of Pentacles. What's led up to this? Oh my gosh. Okay. I call this card the give and take. But as you look at this card, without the glare, there we go. So to me, look at this. So there's all these hands that are reaching up from the bottom of this card, And this person at the top is just giving out money left and right. If you think of those pentacles representing money, and he's got his little scales there, and he's weighing it out, he's just giving out all these hands are out, wanting all this money. This is what led up to this. I think there's like, to me, this is like the spigot was turned on, no checks and balances. These hands are just hand out, and all this money's just pouring out. Wow. Okay, next card. This is in the background. This is a Knight of Pentacles. Things are moving slowly, and this is in the background, like fading into the past. Things were moving slowly. That's how we can look at this, because it's fading into the past. Now we're moving through this devil energy with what's been happening, and look at the next card out. This is on the future. The Chariot, oh my God. Chariot is like, we are moving forward, baby. Look out, get out of the way, or get run over. That's the energy of the Chariot. So this, and that's really fascinating, because with this card being in the past, this is a card of moving slowly. That's in the past. This is what's coming. The Chariot. We're moving ahead, and it's full steam ahead. And this ace is going to be guiding the whole way. Wow. Just wow. Okay, here's that blacksmith again. This is the Knight, or excuse me, the Three of Pentacles. Card of working on a plan, working on something, putting something together. And then this card is on what is in the environment around. And this is that triumphal entry, news. And it's right on the heels of this. So this Chariot's energy is like pushing something out into the open. I think that Washington State is about to be exposed. This is being pushed out into the open with that Chariot energy and this Six of Wands announcing this Chariot moving forward. There's that Seven of Pentacles again. We need to review. Our basket is empty. What's going on? We got to review. We got to figure out, why is the money over there and not in our basket? And then, oh, look at this outcome card. For those of you that know tarot, the Judgment card, this is like, this is all balls to the walls. Everything's coming out. This is like ground zero, last chance. It's got to come out now. It's now or never. That's the energy of the Judgment. Now or never. Wow, that is powerful. What is coming out right now is exposure. So there you have it, folks. This is pretty clear. There's a lot coming out, and I don't think they're going to be able to stop the bleeding. I think they may try, and there could be some, look at this shiny object over here in the news, but this is not going away anytime soon. I think it's only going to gain steam, and it's got a lot of people panicking. That's all I have for this video. Thanks for tuning in. We'll have to kind of see where this all goes. So hold on, everybody. We'll all ride this ride together, and hopefully this will result in some accountability. We shall see. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Intuitive Edge. Bye for now.